Hi guys, it's Melissa from Kiwi Banana here, and I'm gonna do a wee video about being high carb vegan on a food budget, which I'm sure many of you are, and I'm a student myself, so I guess my budget can be a bit tight at times, and I'm pretty good at managing my money, so I thought I would sort of share a few wee tips. And I'm sure some of you guys already know this and you just kind of forget about it, or maybe you don't know about it. So obviously have an idea of what you want to eat and what you want to make, and you could do that through recipe ideas, like just going through recipes and being like, okay, I want to make this, and what sort of ingredients do I need, and just making sure that you're sticking to a list. So of course, do make a list of what you'll need, and only sort of buy what you need, obviously, and don't buy any more than what you don't actually need. Don't be like, oh, those look really nice, I'll just buy them when you didn't really need to buy them. Another good tip would be, if you're not at home a lot, then you probably should be packing your lunch, your dinner, or your breakfast, just packing your food and taking it with you. And when you pack your own food, you save so much more money than paying for someone else to put a meal together for you. Yes, it can take a little bit more time, but if you're able to schedule a bit of time to make your food, you can fit it in there. And another wee tip would be with the packing your lunch and your meals or your food is also, you can sometimes do it in bulk. Like sometimes you can cook up like a big meal, and then you could put some of it in the fridge and some of it in the freezer, and you just put it in containers that you might have around the home, and then you just get up in the morning or wherever you're going, uni, work, and then just take it with you, and it's already made. And you could do that for a whole week's worth of food if you really wanted to. And I guess most of you have fridges and freezers. It doesn't take much to just put them in there, and you can take it away the next day or whatever. Also, when you go out to eat, say you're going out for a meal with friends and family or work or whatever, another good tip would be to eat something before you go, so that you don't end up buying all these entrees and mains and desserts, and or like buying a really big meal or lots and lots of food, when you could have eaten before you left and ordered less food. Then you've saved money on the food that you're buying at the restaurant or wherever it is that you're going to eat. Now, obviously, the other tip sort of depends on your take of the high carb, low fat vegan. You've got the fully raw, which is probably a bit more expensive than comparing to something like Start Solution, because things like potatoes and rice are some of the cheapest foods like all around the world, compared to fresh organic greens. I'm not saying that everyone on fully raw that's all that they eat, but filling up on rice and potatoes can be cheaper than trying to fill up on like lettuce and kale and spinach and all those sort of leafy greens that a lot of fully raw people would have for a lot of their meals. You can, if the high carb, low fat vegan style that you're doing is too expensive, or not really working for you, you don't have to stick to it because blah 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 says you need to eat fully raw all day, or blah 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 says you need to eat fully raw till 4, or just do what works for you. If what you're eating is too you're going for the fully raw and you can't afford to fill up on just the greens and fruits, then add some starches if you have to. Add some cooked foods if you can't afford. At the end of the day, if you can't afford to eat, then it's not really worth it's not really worth living. You know? So you've got to just sort of be realistic about what you can afford and what's accessible, you know, depending on your budget and where you live and the season and, you know, whatever else is going on in your life as well. Another tip would be buying in bulk and simpler foods. Like, you don't have to make foods with 20 billion ingredients, you know. You know, and you probably eat large amounts of, you know, especially if you're buying a lot of fruits and you might have fruit meals, then you probably buy quite a lot of maybe just a couple of different fruits, and you can really save money doing that instead of buying loads and loads and loads of different types of fruits and vegetables and only getting a few of them, you know. And buying large amounts of, you know, a couple of different things and sort of buying seasonally still means you're getting that sort of range of nutrients, say, you know, throughout the year. And I guess you don't want to be eating too many ingredients anyway, because some of you may struggle with, you know, say you were having like a fruit salad and it had lots of different fruits in it, then you would struggle with digestion if it was so many different fruits. And I'll do maybe another video about food combining in the future. So yeah, just buying that sort of simpler foods, you know, not getting so many different types and buying large amounts can really help. And seasonal, of course. And of course, I guess, you know, being a vegan, automatically not buying animal products is cheaper, so hey, can't really argue with that one. Also, like, look out from friends and the internet as to where you can find like the local cheapest places for food that you like, and asking like the shops and the owners questions like I find a lot of people will go into a supermarket or something and they'll ask, you know, what do you do with your bananas that are a bit brown, those sort of things, and they may be willing to sell you them at a cheaper rate and a large amount. I've got a local store that I like to go to that I know I can always get them quite cheap, but you just got to just look around. You know, the internet is a brilliant source of information, and just keep your eyes open for good deals on things you like to eat, you know, whether it be rice, potatoes, dates, and just, you know, anything that you really, really love and that you find quite a staple in your lifestyle that you're living. And of course, just stop buying things that you don't need, like not just food things, but sorry, my arm's getting a bit sore. You know, not just like your food items, but other things in your life that, you know, do you really need to buy that new dress? Do you really need to buy that new Xbox game? Do you really need it? And seeing food as more of an investment than just, oh, it's another expense, because, you know, the food that you put in can be what you get out, and then if you're doing that right, then you're getting a better quality life. Yeah. You know, does buying those other things that you don't really need, do they really give you that better quality of life than if you'd invested that money into better quality food? Better wrap this up, but I hope you've done something that makes you happy today. See ya!